Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com. This is the chart for the new moon, 28th of September. It's set for London, 1926 British summertime. It's interesting because in the UK, we have Taurus is our rising sign at that time. And look at this, Uranus, the planet of change, the rebel, the outsider, is sitting here in the first house of this particular chart. It will obviously vary depending on where you are in the world. But there is a very interesting combination of planets here. First of all, we're in the sign now of Libra. Sun and moon, it's the first new moon in Libra. And Libra is all about balance, harmony, peace, diplomacy. It's ruled by Venus, the goddess, the planet of love. And Venus currently is in Libra, her own sign. Now this is very positive for diplomacy, for compromise, for seeing somebody else's point of view. That's the nature of Libra. Naturally, it concerns the seventh house of the chart, which is all about the other. So seeing the mirror, what are people doing in your world that might be a mirror for you? Mercury is also now in Libra. It's going to move very soon into Scorpio. And we will be going through the last Mercury retrograde of the year. That begins, though, not until October 31st. But Mercury is going to spend a long time in Scorpio because of the retrograde. And the Mercury in Scorpio is taking us into the underworld, taking us into the unconscious, and plumbing the depths. I have Mercury in Scorpio in my chart, so I'm fascinated by everything to do with the unseen, the unconscious, things that need to be looked at and understood. It's shadow work, basically, in a nutshell. Now, at this new moon, we're getting the last combination of Jupiter up there in Sagittarius, Neptune in Pisces. This is a square. They've been facing off each other for a long time now, but because Jupiter's moving forward now at last, it started that forward motion last month, this month really, and this is justice. Jupiter's all about the law and justice, and Neptune can be very nebulous, to say the least, confused. Pluto and Saturn, South Node, here they all are up in Capricorn, and this combination of Saturn and the South Node, they're just past the exact degree of their conjunction. Saturn is also now going forward, so they are parting company because the South Node knows the moon go retrograde all the time. Now, if you've been having issues over the last, well, five months, but especially over the last week, I'd be concerned about your chart if you've got any planets in the middle of Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, Aries. These are the cardinal signs, the signs that start the new seasons. And we are now in the new season of Libra. The autumn equinox has just passed. So old stuff, karmic inheritance, is very much to do with the South Node, especially with Saturn, and issues around authority, obeying the law, having good constructs in place, good boundaries in place. Capricorn is a sign, the mountain goat that gets to the top. It's ambitious. But have you ever seen a mountain goat? And I happen to have seen one once in Greece a long time ago. They're very nimble. They get to the top of that hill or wherever they're climbing because they're looking for the juicy roots, the juicy leaves to eat. And they are very nimble and adept. In the news, Greta Thunberg, that wonderful young woman for environment campaigner, is a Capricorn. And many other leaders in the world at this time have the influence of Capricorn in their charts. Now, Chiron. Chiron is currently in Aries. It's now retrograde. There it is, 3 degrees Aries. And notice the sun and moon have just, this new moon, just passed that exact opposition. The next planet to pick that up will be Mars when it moves into Libra. That's next weekend. Chiron is all about being wounded. In Aries, Aries rules the head, but it's the pioneer. It's got courage. It goes first. So if you're around the age of 50, you'll be going through Chiron return. And I've been having a health issue over the last week. I had an accident and I badly bruised my back. So it's kept me very much in silence, in noticing movement in my physical body. And sure enough, I've got a planet around 4 degrees in my chart that Chiron has activated. And this may well be true for you. A quincunx. When Uranus is at a quincunx, and here it is very strongly, look at that degree, exact same degree, with the sun and moon, it can bring up health issues. And Uranus is all about the unorthodox. And I've noticed in the course of this week, different medications that I've been taking, the arnica for bruising is actually the easiest solution. It's a homeopathic remedy. It's also a cream. And I found that heavy painkillers didn't really work very well with me. It upset my tummy. So look at your own chart and see, what is it that needs changing? Uranus is very much about change. Taurus is a fixed sign, which means stubborn, resistance to change. And also, one thing I know in my work with clients and what I've been taught, anytime we have something that throws us off our center, an accident is definitely one of those, anything that comes in the way of moving forward, as we're just about to take the next step in our life, in our career, in our relationships, whatever it might be, the ego means divided self, wants to look outside itself for solutions, is fixated on money, success, all the outward things. But the opposite is wholeness. Listening today to Deepak Chopra talking on this subject, I thought, how interesting. The divided self, he calls it, in opposition to wholeness. And the divided self is something that can be integrated. I'm going to run a webinar next week. Stay tuned. And I'm focusing on Chiron and focusing on a healing exercise to integrate opposites. It's very much a Gemini quality of duality. And notice in the UK, in the US, I know also, in the UK, we're very much in this place of division, of Brexit, of leave or remain. And it has splitting the country in half. It's been, I can't think of words to describe it, but all I know is listening to Parliament and politicians and their anger, which is very Mars anger, but also the disregard for the safety of female MPs and being dismissed. The attack on the feminine was evident, and the feminine is the way through. Feminine is about receiving the guidance from spirit, the universe. In astrology, be Neptune, and that place comes from meditation, from silence, from listening. So I welcome you to, at this new moon, to plant that seed within your mind of peace. What would you like in your life that brings peace, brings you to that place of centeredness and wholeness? It's a great place because in that place, miracles happen. And today, I look at a card I've got from A Course in Miracles. I have it in front of me and it's really lovely. It says, all your past, except its beauty, is gone, and nothing is left but a blessing. And I would like you to take that to heart. And thank you for watching. I'm Pam Carruthers of healingstars.com.